everybody. I'm so glad to be talking to you today. Um, this is Steph, the Educator. The podcast is Essential Pedagogy. So excited. Um, I have my own YouTube channel, and I'd love for you to follow me on YouTube, Steph, the Educator. YouTube. There it is. It's spelled right there. Look at me, girl. I love black. Black is one of my favorite colors. Um, so I have a YouTube channel. So please follow and subscribe there for me. Please, please, please. I'm trying to at least have enough subscribers. Excuse me, to pay for production. Excuse me, y'all. I hope I don't start coughing. Having a coughing attack. Anyhow, the show today is about compassion versus empathy. And if you guys have been following me or watching the show for some time, excuse me, you know that my hope is that as a result of people watching and listening to the things that I talk about on this show, that we develop a compassion for insiders and outsiders of education. Education is about to change, y'all. It's new administration. Things are about to change. We have new leadership coming. And so we really need to pray. Oh my gosh. I'm going to take y'all with me so I can get something to drink for. Look at this. I feel like I'm vlogging now. Y'all following me around in my house while I get something. I'm going to drink this nice drink right here. Love it. It's a sparkling lemonade. It's my go-to because I do not drink a lot of juice or sodas. All right. Whoop, whoop. Look at that. All right. So one of the pillars that I have built this podcast on is developing compassion for others. And some things have happened here recently that has made me want to really talk about compassion and empathy. I've been thinking long and hard about it because we need more empathy in the schools, but we also, I think we also overemphasize empathy. And this is why I'm saying that. I feel like compassion goes a step further than empathy, because it is challenging someone to do something about what they are empathizing or sympathizing about. So you can have compassion for a cause or for a person or a group of people and not necessarily know exactly how it feels to be in their shoes. So that is what we call sympathy. When you empathize with someone, you understand how they are feeling. And sometimes we could take it too far when we empathize with someone, that we can feel it so deeply that it debilitates us. What I want is a cause for action. I want compassion, that the way you feel about something, or if I'm helping you feel sympathy or empathy for our school system, for the people who work hard every day within schools, who work with school leaders, then I would love for this to cause you to have some kind of action behind how you're feeling. And a lot of people are not exercising compassion when it comes to everyday life. I have a friend who told me about a situation about some children getting in trouble with taking pictures of another student, and passing these pictures around and laughing and taunting another student, which is, cyberbullying. We have training, some um, information that we give to the students about cyberbullying and how things cannot be taken back, and what appears on the internet or is birthed on the internet does not die, although people feel like it does because they delete. Things aren't always deleted. So I feel like a lot of situations like that can be avoided if we start getting our students away from, or our children away from, being so phone dependent. And it's not just the device, it's where their attention is going. When attention is taken away from people and it's given to artificial things, whether it's intelligence, whether it's games, whether it's just reels, and it's getting real bad, y'all, where students are not, they're not getting enough sleep. Their reality is augmented. They're not taking firearms seriously. They're not taking danger seriously. And so it's concerning. What I want to talk to you guys about is, I did a little bit more research because I really believe our attitudes and our knowledge about empathy and compassion and really altruism is what drives us to do the things that we do. So sympathy is another word for pity. And it is sometimes a physical display of caring and knowing about a struggle. Empathy is caring and personally knowing the struggle the other person is going through. And compassion equals empathy or sympathy paired with a desire to do something and have a solution to the perceived problem. Not just a perceived problem, but a problem in a lot of cases. Altruism is the perceived right thing to do, not understanding what to do, but you are seeing something and you have emotions about it. And so you feel like, oh, this is what I should do about it, when you're not understanding the underlying problem in the first place. So I'll give you an example. Altruistic viewpoints of fixing a problem of a unhoused person in a city may to just, oh, I'm going to buy blankets and I'm going to give this unhoused person a blanket, when they may not understand what the underlying problem is for this homeless person to be where they are, or this person that is unhoused, or their perception of them being unhoused. They may just be walking to the store and having a whole lot of bags with them. So a person's perception of what may solve a person's problem, which may not be where their problems stem from. Again, I see a lot of this in the schools when it comes to teachers not having a similar background as a low socioeconomic student or at-risk student, and they decide to give them lunch every day. That is a band-aid to their problem. So I can go back to a old saying. I don't even know if it's a proverb. It's not a proverb in the Bible, but it is an old saying. At-risk student. Oh, well, an at-risk student is a student that may be experiencing homelessness, experiencing low socioeconomic indicators, which could be living in an apartment, being of African American descent or Hispanic descent. It just depends if they have a certain amount of indicators to make them at risk. Low income will have a child automatically be labeled as at risk, no matter what their IQ is. But having low income, being homeless, having certain circumstances in their life will code them as at risk in our system. And our at-risk students are a lot of our Black and Brown students, our minority students who can get lost in the shuffle of education, education and the formal English language can get by them. Some of the comment. Oh, I remember when I was in I took a couple of grad school courses at SMU, and I was in this group where we had to do a project, and one of the group members were talking about, hi, how you doing, Robin? We were talking about making up a board game for our project. And so I'm all about board games. I love board games. I just never heard of, because I've heard of Monopoly, but I've never heard of Chutes and Ladders. When I was a young girl, I played jacks, I played marbles, we did hopscotch, I played on monkey bars. I remember Hungry Hippo. I remember I did not play Chutes and Ladders, and I'm not certain why I wasn't exposed to Chutes and Ladders. I guess it was the same reason why I wasn't exposed to Black Barbie. I knew Christy doll, I just didn't know Black Barbie. I knew Barbie was white, but I didn't know there was a such thing as Black Barbie. I just knew it was a Christy doll, but there was actually a Black Barbie. I found that out through watching the documentary. And there's other people who knew about it, but I just didn't know. So you play jacks too, girl? With the metal jacks. Now, you can hardly ever find metal jacks anymore. But when you don't know what a person is going through, or you don't know anything about their life, it's hard for you to be compassionate without doing research. And a lot of people try to be compassionate without doing research, without trying to understand. You're sympathizing with them, and then you jump into compassion to try to do something about a situation when you really need to do research. And I feel like that because majority of teachers in education come from a middle class background, then it is hard for them to really come up with solutions that's helpful to an at-risk population. The greatest thing I feel like you can give at-risk children is the proverb. I'm going back to it. It's, I don't know what proverb it is, but it is, if you give a man a fish, then he eats for one day. But if you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So in my experience, it has been better to support someone in their struggle instead of to keep the struggle from them. Case in point, children eat what they want to eat at this day and age right now. A lot of times, it could be their only meal at lunchtime, but at least they have that meal, right? So a teacher giving a student lunch money or buying lunch for a student every day because they're at risk and because the student says that they're hungry, I feel like is a greater disservice than teaching a student how they can probably earn money on the side somewhere, start a YouTube channel or something like that so they can earn their own money, so they can start taking care of themselves instead of being dependent on someone else to give them something. So a lot of times, my white counterparts will feel sympathy, which is a way of relating but not understanding, rather than empathy and compassion. And empathy is, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't have any solutions for your problem. Compassion is where we come up with the solutions to our problems when things are not right in our society. And so we get better at that when we have more conversations, when we look at each other eyeball to eyeball instead of typing out everything on email. Let's get on a call and let me see you, or let's sit down and have a conversation. This is one reason why, even though this is, I'm running a long race, okay? I'm not always my students' favorite teacher, but once they leave my class, they understand the lessons that took a whole school year to teach. So here it is. We're almost at the halfway mark at the in December, when we break for the Christmas holiday. We'll be at the halfway mark. My students are getting there, but they're not there yet. When I stand at the door and I do not allow them to come into my classroom without me standing at the door, checking and see if they have their IDs on, smiling at them, greeting them at the door, looking them in the face to see if they're in a good mood, to see if they're happy, to see if, they may feel a different way than what I'm used to seeing them every day. And you don't know that until you greet your students every day. Then you get a baseline norm of how they are. Sometimes students are not, they're melancholy naturally. And so you don't know that until you greet them every day. And then some people just take a longer time to get to know you, and to really warm up to you. So I have a young lady who I think she never said more than 2 words to me until this week. And she's so cheerful and so sweet and hi, just hi, Miss Powell. But it takes me every day standing at the door, saying hello, saying good morning, saying good afternoon, attempting to give them high fives if they are those kinds of students, or if I want to touch them, because sometimes, honey, they are a little dirty and I can't. But compassion is very important inside and outside of the classroom. I feel like compassion is something that a lot of people need to take classes on. not just regular people, not just children in school. I'm talking about CEOs. I'm talking about everybody, because our outlook is, oh, bottom line is our shareholders, whatever they think is what we should be doing. And that's like saying that the spectators at the football game are the people that you're trying to please, instead of the football players in the game and trying to get them and have them be healthy and have them be help their psyche. And that's not how it goes. It's the people doing the work that we need to celebrate and honor their work. So when it comes to dealing with my students and dealing with their parents, I try to honor my students by empowering them. And this is how I show compassion to them. Like, hey, I know you messed up. I know you got a 0 on this, sir, ma'am. I know you did not intend for this to happen. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know if you are dating and you're a little distracted, but I need you to try to fix this before I have to fix this with your parent, because, Miss Powell has a job to do. So I need for you to fix it before I have to make a phone call. So either you tell them or I tell them. And the way I'm going to know you tell them is if you have them email me that you told them that you are making the 0. So I'm going to also document this in the grade book about our discussion, right? So, and I think I exhibit compassion with the students and help them to become more responsible on their own without anybody at home chastising them. I think middle schoolers especially want to have the autonomy to try to fix some things themselves without parents being involved. So I try to get them to do that in a timely manner, and to see the practicality of doing that. Does it work always? No, it doesn't always work. It doesn't. Friends, it's a career long journey. And when I say career long, I'm not talking about my career. I'm talking about a student career. It's a career long journey in being an independent person that is responsible for their actions. And so they're not going to get it right all the time. But I believe that we can do things differently. We can have more research to the things that we do, or logic to the things that we do. We can set aside the mindset that our hands are tied in every situation. I can't get homework back from a child. Oh, yeah, you can. There's always something in the classroom the kids love doing. There's always an activity. There's always, especially in science, I teach science to children. I teach children science, but they always want to do a lab. And so I miraculously design my homework around labs because I want that homework back. And they know that if I don't get that homework back, you don't get to participate in a fun lab. You don't get to. Friend, you didn't do the things that you needed to do in order to show me that you knew anything about what this lab was going to be about, and that you would act responsible. I never have a parent complain about it, even though they know that's my policy. I think secretly, everyone is hoping that we can make the kids accountable on their own, and that the parents don't have to do anything. But I'm going to tell you, parents, you are very, very valuable in your child's life. You have the power to build compassion and empathy in a child's life by having those crucial conversations with them, by simply reading books with your children. Now, I know we got busy lives, but I'm going to challenge you guys out there. Buy 2, 3 copies, however many copies you think you need for your family. And my family, because I was a single co-parent, in my household, we bought 3 of the same book. And my oldest son and my youngest son, we read the same book. We took turns reading. I read 1 page, and the other 2 young men in my life, they read a page apiece until we got through chapters, to the point where it sprung on conversations about other people, whether it's fiction or whether it is nonfiction. The stories that we read led to conversations of us having, that I know changed their lives, that I know guided their viewpoint on things. And if you do not have discussions with your children, or even prompts to have discussions, and these books are nothing but a prompt to life, right? We read The Hate U Give. We've read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Oh my gosh, they picked out one book that I could not finish. Oh my gosh. But anyhow, Cast, my oldest son read Roots from cover to cover. Now that's like probably got more pages than the New and Old Testament together. I don't know anybody out there who has read Roots from cover to cover. Oh my goodness. I feel like my son needs a doctoral degree just from doing that. That's a big book. But he read about Kunta Kinte. Yes. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is a fictional book about Nazi Germany and Jewish prisoners. And so we've read a variety of books that are about people and people's struggles, that develop compassion and empathy. And I feel like those things are more important than a grade. People, is more important than a grade. I had a parent talk to me about their child's grade and their difficulties in getting through a module I have on a learning management system. And I created the difficulty, not in necessarily the activity, but it's a group of activities that when you're on something digital, the kids will zoom through it without thinking, without anything. They just zoom through it, get it done. Let's go to the next one to get them all done. It was like 9 activities. Well, they had to reach a threshold of about 60-70% correct before they got to the next activity. Well, there was a little girl that struggled, and the mother emailed me, and they really thought something was wrong with the activity, and it was nothing wrong with the activity. The computer was doing what it was supposed to do, which was trying to make them slow down, use their notebook, and all of that. But I think that mom was more concerned about her getting the grade than learning the content. And my concern is always learning the content. And I really don't care about their grades that much. I mean, middle school doesn't even stick with them anyway. So I care about whether it kills a person's spirit, because I don't want someone to give up when they don't do as well as they would like. But I want them to know that content. I want people to feel like they're empowered when they leave my classroom. And so the discussions I have around some of the decisions I make, I have no problems in justifying what I make a decision to do, or even sometimes admitting when I'm wrong, or admitting when I'm a little too hard, or admitting when I'm a little too easy. It all comes from a place of compassion and empathy. And once I learn more about a child, because everybody's different and everybody's valuable and everybody is built differently, then the more I understand a child individually, the more I can help them understand what my goal is for them, and to ease them into um, the comfort of being uncomfortable. I feel like half my job is to get them comfortable with feeling uncomfortable instead of angry at being uncomfortable. That's the learning process. So when you have that uneasy feeling in your stomach, when you feel uncomfortable, you are learning a lesson. And I need people who are sometimes suffering from, and I don't want to say mental health, because we all have some kind of mental something that we're dealing with, whether it's stress, depression, sadness, grief. They all can affect us mentally. We just need to have mental fitness. And we ain't always going to be healthy and you just stay there, right? Just, you don't lose weight and you just stay there because you lost it. It's just never going to come back. Well, we need to stay fit mentally and physically. And one way we can do that is doing the things that we need to do in order to build compassion and empathy, guys. And when we build those things, then our thinking and the things that come from our heart won't fail us. It won't fail us at all. I just want to thank you guys and remind you that I have a YouTube channel and I'm trying to get more subscribers because it's sad out there in these world, in these streets. I watch YouTube all the time. And so I have some people that I follow, some even local Dallas people I follow, and my little YouTube mates around here on the Power Network. So, but I want you guys to follow me on YouTube and subscribe to me so that I can start paying for my production out of that budget, instead of like, this is a hobby and it's costing me, y'all. I really need y'all to subscribe. Essential Pedagogy. Find me on YouTube. It's very easy. I pop up. I got a couple of videos now, so you can binge watch a little bit. And I guess this is going to be on there with me having a coughing fit, but that's life. I just want to thank you guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm working on some interviews with people. The holiday season is tough, trying to get all the scheduling together. I don't know what we're going to do, but I do have people that are agreeing to come on the show, some retired teachers. I'm hoping to get a former client of mine who I tutored both her children, and I'm hoping to get her back on. She was on a couple of years ago, and I'm hoping to get her back on, and some other educators. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks and developing a great show in the future. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.